common sense with the senior delinquents. Unfortunately, my esteemed co-host, Dennis Silvers, is recovering from a bout of pneumonia. So, solo mio for this week's show. A recent visit to New York and some business near Times Square prompted me to see what they charged for seeing Barbie at the AMC Theaterplex. The price of admission, $25. So now, more than ever, you need to think hard about whether it's worth it. Fortunately, help is at hand, especially in light of Hollywood's current obsession with the woke culture. The website Worth It or Woke can help you navigate the treacherous waters of movie mediocrity. Our guest today is James Carrick, who created the site in response to the liberal leanings of the film industry. Well, welcome, James Carrick, to the Senior Delinquents.
Thanks for having me, Jamie.
I just want to get your opinion. The new Barbie movie, according to you.
It was a love letter to Barbie. All they had to do was take all of the existing properties that have existed for Barbie for the last, 70 years and make it bigger. Overall, though, the movie I thought was a disjointed, meandering, I hesitate to say plot, because it seemed like it was more or less 4 or 5 vague ideas that they wrote a little bit of a story around each one, and then it came together with a 3-minute whining fest by America What's-Her-Face about how difficult it is to be a modern woman.
They had a lot of production values, but is this why you started your website, Worth It or Woke? Tell me a little about the background.
Yes, for movies exactly like this is exactly why I started it. You know, I've always been a big movie fan. I went to school for theater. I had every intention of being a professional actor and then started a family instead. But, and I didn't think that they were compatible. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to create a website that was a conservative competitor to places like Rotten Tomatoes, where people who were at the very least sane and most likely conservative would be able to go and see what is a good choice for their money and what is not.
Well, when you talk about money, now I went on National Movie Day to see Barbie, but it was $4, and I'm in the Director's Guild, so it's a write-off. But when I went there, I was looking at 10, 15 minutes worth of commercials, followed by another 20 minutes of promos for other movies. So I think I paid the price for it.
Going to the movies is a very expensive proposition for me. The last time I took all of us out to see, I think it was the Mario movie, it was upwards of $200 to get all of us into the theater. Fortunately, it was at least an entertaining movie, and it certainly did well in the box office.
There are a lot of movies that do stand the test of time, but there are also a lot of movies, and I would include Barbie, that it's the biggest hit maybe at this time, but I think people, for the reasons that you cited, are going to look back on it and say, would I watch it again? Would I watch it again? Would I watch it again? And one example for me is a movie that did phenomenal box office when it came out, but elements of it were terrible. Easy Rider. Easy Rider came out, and it had good casting. It had Steppenwolf. The thing that I think that sold the whole movie was playing Born to be Wild, and
Absolutely.
Credit the cinematography of Laszlo Kovacs. He really made the movie, but when you took the plot into consideration and the weed-soaked haze they were in, a lot of dopiness, and you don't see it very often now. Occasionally, maybe on Turner Movie Classics, but it's not durable. And maybe you'd give a couple examples of movies that aren't, or you feel are durable.
Well, I remember when the movie Avatar first came out, everybody flipped their lid over how amazing it was as a film, when objectively it's mediocre at best as far as the plot is concerned. Certainly it's a technical achievement, but until its most recent sequel was coming out, No one ever talked about Avatar.
To me, an enduring test of time is, especially now with streaming services and the traditional cable services like Showtime, HBO, etc., movies that just any given week you can see. And they're not necessarily movies that were big hits at the time. View from the Top, Gwyneth Paltrow trying to be a stewardess to better her life, and it had Michael Myers in it as the instructor. A lot of comedy.
Captain, we are...
But also a lot of heart. Almost any given week you're going to find it, and they weren't huge box office successes at the time they were released.
Well, I can think of two that were box office bombs, lost money: Shawshank Redemption and Office Space. And those two are ubiquitous on streaming. Everyone knows them, and Shawshank is regarded by many to be one of the finest movies to come out in the last 30 years. It has universally identifiable themes.
I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back.
What's more identifiable than being wrongly accused of something? A sense of being trapped and a sense of redemption.
And for anybody who's worked in a corporate environment and gone through living in a cube and having corporate rules and regulations, Office Space, and also very, very, very good casting too.
We're going to be getting rid of these people here. Mr. Samir, not going to work here anymore anyway.
People
Absolutely.
just seem to resonate with it. What kind of audience breakdown do you have? Because I'm sort of thinking that you're going to have your hardcore devotees, you're going to have people who don't like it and want to come up and attack the movies, but that's just a guess on my point. What is your audience, and how have they responded to the site?
Well, if you do the breakdown of the analytics, of course, it's largely a U.S. audience. However, the UK is very easily my second largest. And what's interesting is if you break it down by city, you'll see that the places where I, month after month, have the largest number of viewers are the most liberal cities. New York City. Los Angeles is another big one that I get all the time. London. You have a large number of people in those cities who actually don't identify with the popular politics of the cities and are desperately trying to find an honest purveyor of film criticism that is also within their worldview.
Are there any hot buttons you found that set people off, especially in terms of the woke culture?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, most people, and especially my critics, and are fairly vocal about it, they think that it would probably be diversity casting. And I would say that for the most part, that is the thing that bothers people the least. At most, it's an eye roll annoyance because it takes you out momentarily of the film to say, well, this person, I wonder if they got cast because of X instead of because of merit. But the one that is ubiquitous, it's a non-starter, is the transgender movement. When there's something as small as in the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, a 5 to 8 second scene in which one of the turtles is looking at a school bulletin board, the audition call sheet. On that same billboard are a number of LGBT paraphernalia, and that raises the ire of people the most.
Movies' budgets continue to get bigger, and the amount of effects that can be thrown in, especially in the action and the superhero genre. Do you think that the factors that they're so long that they always want to end with a sequel, they could never just say we're done, it could actually collapse the industry eventually if there's just too much repetition?
I think that's actually happening now. I just think that studios are slow to pick up on it. They're especially the places like Disney have gotten fat and happy on billion-dollar profits for these giant special effects extravaganzas.
James, I look forward to continuing different aspects of the industry with your expertise, and as your site evolves, worth it or woke, there'll be lots of things to talk about. So again, thanks for participating. Look forward to seeing you again in the not-too-distant future.
Well, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
You can see all of our episodes on seniordelinquents.com, and we can also be seen on many social media sites. I was going to have my usual sign-off martini, but these little drinking buddies, they don't like to share, so until next time, hi-ho, Silvers, away.